sent this by the research department, was a word called, a word, canta, sing. So I then, with my high school Spanish, constructed a lyric that was in Spanish called canta una canción, canta en voz alta, canta fuerte, and I left, because it was a bilingual song, I wanted the holes in so that the puppets could sing canta, and then the English would come in from a live actor, sing, canta en voz alta, sing out loud, canta fuerte, sing out strong. What happened was, by leaving those holes in the song, everyone who heard the first person who heard it was Peggy Lee's producer, and said, "That's a great song. Can you just do it in English?" So what happened was, we turned it around from canta to sing, and it was just, without the Spanish, it became sing a song, sing out loud, sing out strong. And sometimes it isn't what you write, it's what you don't write that makes the song a hit. It's the simplicity of stating it clearly. And so by leaving the holes in the song for the two languages and turning it around in English, it became an utterly clear song.
And Karen Carpenter was perfect for it.
Oh boy, was she perfect for it.
Perfect singer to sing that song.
Wonderful. And I'll never forget Richard Carpenter calling me and asking me for the lead sheets. And, the Carpenters were at the height. They had just done Close to You, and they were just at the top of the charts. And I got a request for the song, and they just loved it. And Karen and Richard produced a magnificent recording. I will never forget that wonderful young woman. What a great loss. That was a wonderful voice. She was a good friend.
We got about a minute and a half, so we'll have you write the song after the baseball scores, okay?
Okay.
But what song did you write that you loved that didn't do anything?
That didn't do anything?
Anything, nothing, but a song you
Holy
loved.
smokes.
Is there a song you wrote that you loved?
Oh, there are several.
Give me one that, nobody knows.
Okay, there's one that I wrote called Lucky Star. And I'm producing an album with Simon Estes, the great bass baritone of the Metropolitan Opera. In fact, he opens, and he opens at the Metropolitan the end of September, and we finished an album, which I think is going to be a nice album. And he's a very interesting man. And that song had originally been written for Karen Carpenter as a follow-up to Sing, and it just never got done. And it's a terrific song.
Lucky Star.
Lucky Star, it's called.
Give me a little lyric.
Oh, you're my lucky star. You are my summer day. You're all the softest words I'll ever hope to say. The way your eyes can smile, the way our hands can touch, the little things you do to show me how you care so much. Oh, you're my sweetest song, my every wish come true, and every dream I have begins and ends with you. And when the evening comes and the day is through, I thank my lucky star I'm so in love with you.
We're going to pause for news headlines, a word from your local stations. We'll come back. We'll hear the Susan Waldman, Ken Coleman version of There Used to Be a Ballpark. And then, as promised, Joe Raposo will write a song. If you have a gray Scripto, long lead pencil.
I wrote that on your show.
Can you? That's not a bad song. And if you would submit that for the World Series, I'll bet you that NBC would use it.
Well, I don't know.
Frank recorded.
Well,
NBC
whatever.
use it, intro the World Series.
What the heck? I wrote it here, but I know that's not bad. I just wrote it right here. But you told me not to bang the table.
Yeah, the Summer Ends triggered it, right?
Yeah, the Summer Ends.
I'm trying to get into the creative process.
Well,
you use the summer end as the
hook.
The key hook.
the summer ends. You have to decide where you start and where you're going to finish. Okay, and you keep talking about ballpark. And so this is ballpark chapter 2.
There's one great thing in it, the end and the beginning. You use an end to a beginning.
So the summer ends, let the year begin. So that's a poet. That's poetic license. The summer ends, let the year begin. See the pennants fly, let the people win. The games become the story. We write brand new each year. The names, the numbers vanish, but the message is still clear. There'll always be a ballpark right here.
Were you
What?
what?
You asked for it. You got it.
Were you the kind of kid who wrote little poems in class?
Not really. I think the most important thing that happened to me was when I was faced with the awesome task of writing a television show that had no songs to talk to a lot of people on a network. And
what show was it?
That was Sesame Street.
That was your first big job, right?
As a lyricist. I'd been looking for lyricists for years. I'd worked with some very good people. But what finally, I think, turned the trick for me was the work had to be done, so I did it.
When you write with kids in mind, is that more difficult?
Nah, it's the same.
You don't write down the children?
Never. I wrote Being Green for kids. I wrote Sing for kids. I wrote Somebody Come and Play for kids. I mean,
you did a wonderful score for, I tell you, for a great show, Charlie Brown show.
Well, we have to credit Clark Gessner, who was the guy who was really into the Charlie Brown comic strip, and I helped Clark with that score. I can't claim credit for.
What's the name of that show? What's New, Charlie Brown?
You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown.
Okay, there's a song in there that Snoopy sings.
Called?
Supper Time.
Supper Time.
What a song that is.
That's a good song.
Snoopy is hungry, and they bring him his food. Supper time.
Supper time.
Supper time. I never forgot that. You wrote also with what other Broadway show?
I've been away longer from Broadway than I would like to have been. What happened was, after working on Your Good Man, Charlie Brown, I did Half a Sixpence. I did House of Flowers, the revival of that, and then suddenly I was propelled into television, and I began writing a lot for television and for films. And I stayed in films and television because it was
write scores for movies?
Yeah.
What films?
Oh, Great Muppet Caper. I've done horror films. I mean, in Britain, I think I'm a horror film composer.
What have you written for what horror film?
Oh, I did a great thing called I did one of the first Possession films, Shirley MacLaine's movie. Shirley was a friend of mine. And I did The Possession of Joel Delaney. It was an incredible, horrible possession story. And Lou Grade thought that I was the greatest composer of horror films in the world.
When you write a horror film score, do you see the film first? Do you see the raw footage?
Oh, you betcha.
And then you write the thing like when they're walking up the steps?
Oh, when they're walking up the steps and you know that the axe is going to fall, or the dagger is going to strike, or the snake is going to jump, you know.
The music, it has no
stuff.
Effect without the music.
Well, it helps, though.
Yeah, but I mean, if you watch raw footage and there's no music like in a horror film.
I mean, look, let's face it. I've been working with John Williams all week, who's a wonderful, fabulous film composer, who's at the Pops, and he's going to be conducting as well tomorrow in Boston for the Harvard thing. And you know, let's face it. Where would the shark have been without doo-dum, 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 right?
Jaws, right. He wrote that.
Yeah, sure, you know.
But what he was watching there was raw footage of that electric...
Sure, and suddenly comes, you know, it's a mechanical shark that everybody had trouble with. But boy, oh boy, you got boom, with a bunch of basses and cellos. Everybody gets scared. I mean, I still get scared.
Now, when you write the score for a horror film then do you stand with the full orchestra?
Yeah.
While they play it, and you have it on the screen.
You got it on the screen, and
it's up there.
Oh,
right?
it's.
And you got to leave the orchestra and look at the film.
You got to look at the film and make it all happen. And woe betide he who does not have the proper crash of the orchestra when the dagger strikes. You know, you're scaring people here.
So you have to put yourself in that frame of mind.
Yeah, but in England, they think I do horror pictures. I mean, it's really funny.
What else have you done?
Well, the Muppet movies. You know.
I mean, the horror film.
No, that's my only horror
The
film.
Possession of Joel Delaney.
A turkey. But let me tell you,
The Muppet.
my favorite.
You did the Muppet Caper?
The Great Muppet Caper.
Okay, what song did Kermit sing in that?
Oh, the first time it happens. That was
Yeah.
a fun score. I got the Academy gave me a nomination for it. It was a lot of fun.
We'll be right back. We'll continue our remaining moments with the great Joe Raposo after this message. We're in our waning moments. I love to wane, don't you?
I'm waning.
You know what I'd like to commission you to do?
Yes, sir.
Write a theme for this show. Musical theme for the show. Our theme's getting old.
I accept the commission gladly.
Write a theme. I'll give you a commission. Write a theme for the show.
Okay.
We'll credit you every night. Now, the Mutual Network goes for heavy bread.
I can tell.
This could be major dollars.
That's all right. I'm good for a meal. A bowl of chili. I'm fine.
When composers hear other composers. Now, I will tell you this. I don't like to deal with a story here, but it's true. I've sat with Gleason many times and watched comics work. And Gleason has a great comedic mind. And he would sit next to me, let's say, watching Woody Allen. And Woody Allen would start to tell a story, and Gleason would lean over to me and say, the guy dresses the other way. Or, the girl goes out the door. And he'll still laugh and everything, but he knows where they're going. You know, he knows humor and he knows change. Do you know that with music? Could you hear a tune, let's say, for the first time you're in your car, and you hear the first few bars and strains? Could you whistle the rest of it with it?
Oh, not only do I do that, I weep for the guys who don't know where to take it, because I know where they ought to take it if it's going to be a hit, and I hear it sort of flounder and flare. It's like watching a pitcher who doesn't know how to throw the curveball.
The key, I guess Berlin was the master, right? Is simplicity, is it not?
Was
nothing involved.
He's still there.
Still there.
Boy, oh boy.
Simplicity is harder, isn't it?
You bet. It's all fundamentals. It's easy to dazzle them with your footwork. It's easy to get a rhyming dictionary out and make everybody crazy. Try to touch the heart. That's the tough part. Because people don't surrender their hearts so easily, and they have to trust you. And the way they trust you is if you write honestly from your own heart and simply enough for them to understand what you're trying to say to them.
What's it like to hear yourself in elevators?
There was a terribly funny sketch. Paul Simon is a friend of mine, and Saturday Night Live did a terribly funny sketch about Paul Simon being trapped in an elevator with all his music on Muzak. And I thought that was the worst fate that could ever happen to a songwriter.
Because Muzak doesn't do it well?
Well, no, I don't want to knock Muzak, all the guys at Muzak. Thank you for using all my songs. But the idea of a songwriter being trapped with his own music all the time is a little disturbing. You know, it really is. I'm not orally narcissistic. You know, I don't listen to my songs. I love having written a song and having it be there and having it become a part of people's lives. That's a privilege. That's an honor. That's nice. I also get paid for it. I mean, I make a living doing that. But I don't think about those things. I don't run to pianos to play a medley of my hits. I'd rather do what I did tonight. You know, come with something brand new.
Is there a special feeling when a legend like a Sinatra sings your song?
Oh, Larry.
Is that more special?
Oh, when any of the great singers of our time or even contemporaries of yours who are not singers, like Bob Dylan or Neil Diamond, come up to you and talk to you and say, what a beautiful song that song is, or how much I love that song. That's what it's all about. I mean, you must have the same thing happen with you. People who appreciate your work and your sensitivity and your presentation. I mean, it's wonderful.
What are you gonna conduct tomorrow night to Harvard?
I've written.
You're a Harvard graduate, right?
Yeah. Piece with David McCord, who was class of 1921. He's 88 years old, and he's written a beautiful piece of poetry about Harvard through the years. and I've written an accompaniment to be played by the Boston Symphony at Harvard Stadium outdoors. I hope it doesn't rain, which simply underpins it, like sort of like Lincoln Portrait, Aaron Copeland and Carl Sandburg. Anyway, I'm not.
Are you nervous about that?
Well, we rehearsed on Wednesday, and I had a wonderful time. And Boston is home. I grew up in Symphony Hall, and when I go there, it's the hometown band, and they greet me as a brother and as a friend. When you conduct a great orchestra, they make a composer better. Make a composer better. Do they also make a conductor better? Yeah. There's no question. It's the greatest privilege in the world to work with the great orchestras of the world, and the Boston is one of the great orchestras of the world. Are you always writing? All the time. Yeah. And like even when you eat Chinese food, your favorite? No. When Chinese food, I don't write. No, I tend to. You could write the menu, right? No, I work. Look, I could. Give me the phone book. I love to do this. It's what I'm. It's what I'm meant to do. It's the talent I was given. I was with Jerry Kramer early, just before we talked. Jerry Kramer is a great football player. And I wanted to be a football player when I was at Durfee High School in Fall River. And I knew that there was a choice between my being a lineman and my being able to play the piano. And if you're a lineman, you're going to get your thumbs sprained, and then I wouldn't have been able to earn the money that I needed to go to college, etc. So I said, hey, you're not going to be able to play football. You're going to play the piano. So that's what I did. Do you enjoy being married to a television celebrity? Pat is the strength of my life. She's one of the great people. The television part of her is nothing compared to what she is as a human being. She's a great mother. She's a great inspiration. She's a great critic. To have a critic, who will look at me after I play something and say, Joe, not a chance. That's invaluable. Yeah. Is Pat Collins still with CBS? No, Pat is now independent, and she's got a couple of shows she's developing for that wonder world of syndication. Now that anybody can have a network if they've got a dish and and 3 friends. It's wild. Thanks, Joe. Larry, didn't expect to see you here. Well, you invited me to come. I remember I said drop by, but and I've left Colonel Bourgeois, the commandant of the Marine Band, wandering around. I think he's playing Mumbledy-Peg with Jerry Kramer. No, he's got a surprise for us and everyone here staying at the Jefferson tonight. The entire Marine Band is going to parade through all the floors. Thank you, Larry. Playing Oriole Magic. Thank you, Joe. Joe Raposo, ladies and gentlemen, a great talent. Send it in, folks. Don't forget the mailing address, special prizes, and awards. This is the Larry King Show in Washington at the Jefferson Hotel. We'll be right back following the news headlines on the Mutual Broadcasting System. Okay, we're back. This is the Larry King Show in Washington at the beautiful Jefferson Hotel. We'll be here again October 10th. We'll do one remote a month at the Jefferson. It'll be on a Friday night, October 10th, November 7th, and then New Year's Eve. Before we bring you the baseball scores, our surprise guest, and he's going to write a song for us in a little while. We've decided he's going to write a song about the World Series. That's the topic, as if baseball had commissioned him do a song for the Fall Classic, America's most famous sports event. To lead us into the baseball scores, the only recording of this song has been made by Frank Sinatra. It was originally written, as Joe told us last week, for Barbra Streisand, for a Barbra Streisand special called Barbra Streisand's Brooklyn. The special never came off. Joe wrote it after standing on the site of Ebbets Field, which is now a project apartment house. Home plate is inside the lobby. Joe wrote the song. Sinatra's the only one that ever recorded it, but Ken Coleman, the voice of the Boston Red Sox, did a special recording of it using the talents of Susan Waldman singing it, and then Ken did some talk lyrics about old ballparks. So to lead us into baseball, here is Joe Raposo's
Listen to this, because this is great, great songwriting. There used to be a ballpark.
And there used to be a ballpark where the field was warm and green, and the people played their crazy game with a joy I'd never seen. And the air was such a wonder from the hot dogs and the beer. And there used to be a ballpark right here. And there used to be rock candy and a big 4th of July with the fireworks exploding all across the summer sky. And the people watched in wonder how they'd laugh and how they'd cheer. And there used to be a ballpark right here.
Yes, there used to be a ballpark right here at Coogan's Bluff. A man named John McGraw ran the team. He was smart and tough. Bobby Thompson, Hubble, DeRocher, names I've never forgot. And the kid who kicked his right leg up when he hit one out of the lot. That's right, Melot. And down through the years in memory's haze, the catch on Vic Wirtz by Willie Mays. And there used to be a ballpark right here in Boston. They called it Braves Field. It's gone. And so is Sane, and so is Spawn. Sportsman's Park, St. Louis, Cleveland's Old League Park, Crosley Field, Forbes Field. They're dark. Griffith Stadium, Washington, Walter Johnson, the big train, and always that old refrain. First in war, first in peace, and last, and you know where. Yes, there used to be a ballpark right there. Philadelphia's Connie Mack Stadium and Baker Bowl. Time has taken its toll.
Now the children try to find it, and they can't believe their eyes, 'cause the old team isn't playing, and the new team hardly tries, and the sky has got so cloudy where it used to be so clear. And the summer went so quickly this year.
Ebbets Field in Brooklyn, where Jackie Robinson changed the game so that other men whose skin was black could earn their share of fame. The boys of summer have moved on out. The boys of Roger Kahn are gone. Pee Wee Reese, Carl Perillo, Preacher Roll, Billy Cox, the Duke, and Whitlow Wyatt, the place where they heard the roar of the crowd is quiet.
And there used to be a ballpark right here.
Ken Coleman, Susan Waldman, and Joe Raposo's There Used to Be a Ballpark. You can clap.
Again, Larry King.
Joe Raposo, a surprise drop-in guest, is with us. We have commissioned him to write a song for the World Series. Mr. Raposo has used his gray Scripto long lead pencil with the IBM lead. Okay.
Now, I've never been asked to write a song in a commercial break, and I want everybody to know, truly.
Really? I thought you did it all the time.
No, but I want you to know that I wrote the following lyric. I could play it on the piano, except you don't have a piano here. And had we known I was going to be here, or...
We'd have had a piano.
Okay. But I wrote the following lyric. And this is my salute to the World
Do you
Series.
have the tune in mind, too?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
But it won't sound like too much if I sing it without the piano.
Okay.
Okay. I could sing it. Okay. And this is because it's getting down to the crunch now. Okay? One of your guests said the summer ends. That was the tag.
Someone suggested the summer ends.
Okay. So the summer ends. Let the year begin. See the pennants fly. Let the people win. The games become the story. We write brand new each year. The names, the number vanish. The names, the numbers vanish. But the message is still clear. There'll always be a ballpark right here.